Good morning, all. Welcome to the class. It's the third class of the unit solid state. In the previous classes, we have discussed with the classification of solids, and we completed the main classification as crystalline and amorphous solids, and the types of crystalline solids as ionic, metallic, covalent, and molecular solids. Again, in the molecular, it is non-polar, polar, and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. So along with that, so we discussed a few important crystal definition terms. So that is, what is a crystal lattice or space lattice, and what is a unit cell. So what are the characteristics of the unit cell? So we discussed in the previous class. Now we'll try to continue with the 7 crystal systems, so which are leading to 14 different crystal lattices. So that is Bravais lattices we'll try to observe. Then we'll try to continue with the calculation of number of particles, so per unit cell, in the case of primitive unit cell or simple unit cell, body centered unit cell, and face centered unit cell. So we'll start with the 7 crystal systems. So based on the primitive unit cells or their possible variations shown by respective crystal systems. So we have 7 different crystal systems. So this topic is going to be a very important topic for competitive exam point of view. So for theory, all the 7 are not required. So at least the most ordered crystal system, cubic, and most disordered crystal system, triclinic, you need to practice. So for competitive exams, you try to practice all the 7, and those who are looking only for the board exam, at least you need to remember a cubic crystal system and triclinic system. Most ordered crystal system is cubic, and most disordered crystal system is triclinic. Now we'll use a simple code, a simple way to remember the 7 crystal system. So I prefer, if you follow this maximum, you can try to remember all. So we'll go with a code as C Tom HRT. So prefer in the same order. So it is having some important information to remember. So this code will be helpful, and follow the same order. So it is C Tom HRT. C for cubic, T for tetragonal, O for orthorhombic, M for monoclinic, H for hexagonal, R for rhombohedral, and T for triclinic. Cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, monoclinic, hexagonal, rhombohedral, and triclinic. So I think at least few crystal systems, the terms you have heard earlier. So at least cubic type, hexagonal type, so all those names just you would have heard earlier. So now you try to relate with respect to solids. So these are the crystal systems what we have. The 7 crystal systems: cubic, tetrahedral, orthorhombic, monoclinic, hexagonal, rhombohedral, and triclinic. Rhombohedral is also referred to as trigonal. So to remember with the code, so if you go with rhombohedral, will be easy to remember. Now, with respect to these 7 crystal systems, so we'll learn the 6 characteristics, that is the 3 edge lengths or axial distances, and the 3 axial angles. So with respect to the unit cell characteristics, what we discussed earlier, the 3 axial distances or edge lengths and axial angles are the characteristic feature for a unit cell. Now, how does particular axial lengths will be there in a given crystal system and the axial angles will be there? So we'll focus here. So then what are all the possible variants or variations shown by the crystal system? That is, we have the unit cells as primitive type, that is having corner particles only in the unit cell. Whereas the centered unit cells, so along with the corner, they will have additional particles either at the body center or at each face center. or end-centered. So all these informations we discussed in the last class, try to recollect the information. Now we'll try to remember a way. So how the possible variations are shown by these 7 crystal systems. Try to follow the same order. So give importance for orthorhombic first. The third one, you try to give importance to remember the possible variations. So to remember the possible variation shown by the crystal system, so just go with remembering from orthorhombic. Why I am preferring this? Because so it shows all the 4 types of unit cell as primitive or simple unit cell, body centered unit cell, face centered unit cell, and end centered unit cell. So all the 4 types of unit cells are shown by this crystal system, orthorhombic, PBFE code you can remember. So primitive, body centered, face centered, and end centered. Now, so leaving the last one, so PBF. So you can go for the first crystal system to remember, cubic, so which is the most ordered crystal system. Cubic system is considered as most ordered crystal system. So why it is, we'll try to discuss with the characteristic feature conclusion. So the most ordered crystal system among the 7 is cubic. So leaving the last one, end. So by remembering PBFE code, so you can write the first 3 unit cells are shown by cubic. And for the tetragonal, the first 2, primitive and body centered. And next to the orthorhombic monoclinic will be shown the first and last type of unit cell. Orthorhombic as PBFE, first one as PBF, second one as PB, and the next one of orthorhombic is first and last, primitive and end centered. If you remember these 4, so remaining 3 in the code of CTOM HRT, so we'll be having only primitive type of unit cells. So these will show only primitive type, not any other type. So if you remember with orthorhombic type, then go with the first one, PBF, next PV and PE, followed by all primitive type only. Now, if you count these variations of possible with respect to unit cells, so 3 in the case of cubic, 2 in the case of tetragonal, 4 in the case of orthorhombic, 2 in the case of monoclinic, 1 each from hexagonal, rhombohedral, and triclinic. Now, if you count these particular possible variations for the crystal system, so this 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 2, 11, plus 3, so it is going to be 14, what we are going to get as Bravier's lattices. The 14 different possible crystal systems, that is crystal lattices, are 14. So that is with this variations you can remember. As this is a competitive topic, so any crystal system they may ask, and either they may ask their variations, axial distance or axial angles, so to match with it. With one simple example, you can remember all. Now, to remember the possible variations for the code, so go with orthorhombic as PBFE, then the first one cubic as PBF, next tetragonal as PB, monoclinic as PE, then remaining HRT is with primitive type of unit cell. So PBFE here, so it is PBF, and for tetragonal, so first and second PB, for monoclinic, first and last, it is P. Now, if you remember like this for the supportive code information, so informations for this will be helpful. So just to recall all without having any confusion. So this is a simple way. So what I can find for you to remember. So just concentrate on that. So those who are looking for a competitive exam preparation, so try to take this concept as an important concept. Now, we'll consider axial distances. Now, how to remember axial distances or edge lengths for the 7 crystal system? So first, start with the most ordered crystal system. So it is all the edge lengths are equal and all the axial angles are mutually perpendicular. You try to go with both to remember by giving significance for most ordered crystal system is cubic, most disordered crystal system is triclinic. Most ordered is cubic, most disordered is triclinic. So as it is most ordered, all the edge lengths are equal. A is equal to B is equal to C, and alpha, beta, gamma, they are all mutually perpendicular. Alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma, which is equal to 90 degrees. Hence, the cubic system is considered as the most ordered crystal system. Now, if you go with the last one, the triclinic. So here, all the edge lengths are unequal and all the axial angles are not mutually perpendicular to each other. So they are all unequal, edge lengths are unequal, and all the axial angles are not mutually perpendicular. So this information explains that so this is the most disordered system because of their unequal edge lengths and they're not mutual perpendicular with respect to axial angles. And this is the crystal system which is referred to as the most disordered crystal system. Most ordered is cubic, most disordered is triclinic. Now we'll go with first remembering of the edge lengths. So as most ordered is having all A, B, C as equal, and most disordered is having A is not equal to B is not equal to C. Then for the next one, A is equal to B, but B is not equal to C. A is equal to B, B is not equal to C. Then for the third one, all are unequal. That is, A is not equal to B is not equal to C. So first, all are equal. Next, AB is equal, but B is not equal to C. And for the third one, all are unequal. Then you go with the same order in a reverse way. Now for the next one, all are unequal again. A is not equal to B is not equal to C. Then A is equal to B and B is not equal to C. Then all are equal. That means how you are coming from above, A is equal to B is equal to C, A is equal to B, B is not equal to C. Here all are unequal. You try to go in the same way in the reverse order. A is equal to B is equal to C for the rhombohedral. A is equal to B and which is not equal to C for hexagonal. For monoclinic, all are unequal. That means orthorhombic and monoclinic, you are getting all are unequal. And for triclinic, you are getting the same, all are unequal. So then, if you remember this 1, 2, 3 like order, 1, 2, 3, if you go in a reverse way, 3, 2, 1, so that will be the order for the edge lengths to remember. So 1, all are equal. 2, first 2 are equal, the third is not equal. Next 3, all the 3 are unequal. Next again 3, all the 3 are unequal. 2, 2 are equal, 1 is unequal. 1 indicates all are equal. So 1, 2, 3 order is repeated 3, 2, 1 for the next 3 cubic systems. Hope that will be the easiest way to remember the edge lengths. Next, so if it comes for the next concept of axial angles, so you go just by considering the most ordered, all are mutually perpendicular, and for the most disordered, all are unequal. Next, after writing that, including the cubic, the first 3 crystal systems, so they have all the axial angles mutually perpendicular. That is alpha, beta, gamma, both, that is all are equal to 90 degrees. So in the remaining 3, you can see the 2 angles will be equal to 90 degree and one is unequal to 90 degree or change it from the options. So whatever it is, so we'll try to look into it. Now for monoclinic, so alpha and beta is equal to 90 degree, but that is alpha and gamma is equal to 90 degree, but beta is not equal to 90 degree. First and last, that is alpha and gamma will be 90 degree, beta will not be equal to 90 degree. Whereas in the next case, hexagonal, alpha and beta is equal to 90 degree, but gamma is not equal to 90 degree, and that angle is 120 degree. And for rhombohedral, so alpha and beta is equal to 90 degree, whereas gamma is not equal to 90 degree. Alpha and beta is equal to 90 degree, but gamma is not equal to 90 degree. So this is how you can remember. First three and the last one is easy to remember. All are mutually perpendicular, and this is all are not mutually perpendicular. For the remaining three of monoclinic, hexagonal, rhombohedral, so two angles will be equal to 90 degree. Alpha gamma, alpha beta, alpha beta. Then beta is not equal to 90 degree, gamma is equal to 120 degree, gamma is not equal to 90 degree. Like that, you can go in a way to remember that. Now, at least one example, you try to concentrate to remember for at least most ordered and most disordered crystal system. And for competitive exam, all are required again. Now for cubic, you can easily remember the common salt NaCl or metal copper or zinc blend, that is ZNS. For tetragonal, the tin substance you can remember the white tin or tin oxide or titanium oxide or calcium sulfate. As calcium, barium, the alkaline earth elements, continuation elements. So you can remember for orthorhombic, the next barium sulfate. Or so with the name that is with the name of orthorhombic, it is rhombic. So rhombic sulfur you can take, so that you can remember for the next also. So monoclinic sulfur, rhombic sulfur for orthorhombic, monoclinic sulfur for monoclinic. So these are the allotropic forms of sulfur that we are going to discuss in the 16th group of P block elements. So along with that, if you want, you can remember the other examples also. So it is sodium sulfate. Then hexagonal, it is graphite is the best example of the hexagonal system. So that we learned in the first PUC of 14th group, the carbon family elements, when we are discussing the allotropic forms of carbon, have mentioned graphite, diamond, fullerenes. So there the structure of graphite is mentioned. So how the crystal structure looks. So that you can remember, it is a hexagonal arrangement of sp2 hybridized carbon atoms in the graphite. Next, a rhombohedral. So for rhombohedral, calcite, that is calcium carbonate, or cinnabar, that is HGS, anyone can be remembered. And for triclinic, potassium dichromate, K2Cr2O7, or copper sulfate, CuSO4 H2O, hydrated form, H3BO3. So it is boric acid. So any one example to understand a crystal system, you can remember. Now with this, so we completed the basic concept of the crystal systems. So support you to the unit cells and the types of the unit cells as primitive and centered unit cells. Now we'll go for the calculation of actual number of particles present per unit cell. So this is going to be a very important 2-mark topic. So we'll start with primitive, and with respect to syllabus, we need to learn for body centered and face centered. Only for these 3 types of unit cell, what is the actual number of particles present, we'll try to discuss. Now you can observe for a simple cubic unit cell, as already discussed, a primitive cubic unit cell or simple cubic unit cell is the one, so which is having particles only at the corners. So the particles are present only at corners. So, and we know that as we are assuming it as a cubic systems, that is with a simple cube. So how many corners will be there in it? So there will be 8 corners. And now we need to understand, is all the corner particle is contributed for that unit cell, either entirely or a part. That is the actual understanding of number of particles in a cubic system. So this is a very important 2-mark calculation questions. So 3 we have, it is simple, body centered, face centered, or we have a 3-mark derivation in the packing efficiencies. So there we are going to see for the same crystal systems of simple, body centered and face centered. So what is the actual number of particles present? So leaving the empty spaces. So in that calculation, the first step is going to be the same. So calculating the number of particles or atoms present in that unit cell. Now to understand this, so if you look into these 4 diagrams here, so the diagram 1 explains, so 8 unit cells are there and there is a particle which is placed here. So how it is shared for the unit cell it is mentioned. Now if you make this sphere so into 8 parts, so 1 by 8 part of that is belonging to this unit cell. So 1 by 8 part is belonging to this unit cell, so which are towards this side. And behind unit cell will be having 1 by 8, and behind unit cell is having 1 by 8, and the front side here will be having 1 by 8 part, 1 by 8 part. So like that each particle so is equally shared for 8 unit cells. Hence, if you see any particle which is present at a corner, a particle which is present at any corner, so is going to be shared by 8 unit cells, including this. So there are 8 unit cells, so which are contributed per each particle. Hence, the contribution of a corner particle, if we take, so it will be 1 by 8. The contribution for a unit cell by a corner particle, if we assume, so each corner particle to its parent unit cell so will contribute for 1 by 8 of its portion. Now that you can understand with the second, so how the corner particles are present, how it is shared, you can assume with this third diagram. Now consider all the spheres so which touch with each other. Now to generate the crystal system, what I am writing, you try to observe carefully. To each sphere at the center will make a dot and will join those dots, so that will generate our crystal system as simple cubic system. So behind, so these here the 4 spheres are observed. So behind 3 is visible and 1 will be there, so which is invisible here, so that I will show with a 3D structure later. So first you observe for calculation, then I will show with a 3D structure or a 3D model, so how that 8 particles will be visible. I hope this is clear now. So this is how in a primitive unit cell, we are going to see the 8 particles present. Now if any adjacent unit cells are placed for this particular 8, so this is how it actually looks. So it is in the 4th structure you can observe. So 1 by 8 portion of each particle is belonging in this unit cell. 1 by 8, 1 by 8, 1 by 8 portion is present here. This is again 1 by 8, this is again 1 by 8. So like that, there are 8 corners so which are contributed per unit cell, so of its 1 by 8 portion. Hence, the calculation of number of particles in a simple cubic unit cell is, so we have 8. So and what is this 8 signifies? So these are the corners in a simple cubic system. Now whatever the calculations you are showing in the particle calculation, you need to write both number and what is its significance or the information about the number you need to write in brackets. That is, within the bracket you need to mention what is its information. Now 8 are the corners for a simple cubic system, and what is the contribution of that corner particle has to be multiplied for it. So each corner particle will contribute 1 by 8 of its portion to the unit cell. And so 1 by 8 is the contribution of corner particle. As we are discussing for a particular unit cell, so contribution of corner particle per unit cell is 1 by 8. Now if you simplify the number, it is 8 into 1 by 8 is 1. So hence, so which is indicated by Z. Z indicates the number of atoms or number of particles so in a crystal system. Now for simple cubic system, this Z value, that is the number of particles or number of atoms or number of molecules per unit cell is 1. So this is how the calculation of simple cubic system is calculated. For simple cubic system, Z value is 1 or number of particle is 1. How it is 1? So it will have 8 corners and the corner particles will contribute for the unit cell as 1 by 8. So with the contribution factor for all the corner particles, the total number of particles present per unit cell of simple cubic system is going to be 1. Hope this calculation is clear. Now we'll look into a simple 3D model of simple cubic system. So there you can easily understand so how this 1 by 8 portion and all it is contributed. Now just observe the 3D diagram. Now you can observe from the given diagram here. So it is representing the simple cubic system. Now we are getting that. So a simple cube will have 8 corners. Now whatever this yellow color spherical shaped ball like structures representing the particles, and if you see these particles, so the corner particles, so how they are contributed for the unit cell you can observe. Now just I will zoom into the unit cell. You just focus here. Now if we zoom here, you can see that inside for the unit cell, so this yellow color of the sphere, it is 1 by 8 portion of that is present in the unit cell. Again, in this corner, 1 by 8 portion. Hope you are getting that. Just observe keenly. So each corner particles, 1 by 8 portion is belonging into the unit cell, and remaining it is shared by neighboring unit cell. So this side one, like that, all the possible unit cells if you place for this. So each corner particle will be shared by 8 unit cells. So hence, so in the cell, each corner particles 1 by 8 portion is present. If you take at any corner, 1 by 8 portion is present. The remaining is shared by the neighboring unit cell. And each corner particle contribution per unit cell is going to be 1 by 8. So for a simple cubic system. Hope this 3D diagram is clear for you. Now we'll go with the continuation of the next crystal system. So it is BCC. So now you observe the BCC 3D model also. Then we'll go for its calculation part. Now, if you look in body-centered, we know that in a body-centered unit cell, so there are corner particles, 8 corners, and the contribution of the corner particle will be same. It is 1 by 8. Along with that, what it is additional with respect to body-centered unit cell. So if you observe, so just I'm zooming in, try to focus on this. There is a particle which is present at the center of the body of the unit cell. Now this yellow color spherical shaped particle explains the particle which is present inside the unit cell. Now is this inside particle is shared by any other unit cell? No, it belongs completely for this unit cell. As this particle which is present at the body center is solely belonging to only for this unit cell, so its contribution is complete for the unit cell. Hence one particle is contributing from the body center and 8 into 1 by 8 from the corner particles. As a result, the total calculation will have, it is 8 into 1 by 8 plus 1, so it will be 2 particles present per unit cell of BCC. Now we'll try to observe that with calculation. Now just recall the 3D structure of body center. So what we have seen previously now. Now this is the first diagram, explains the corner particles 8 along with the 8 corner particles. A particle which is present at the center of the body of the unit cell, which is belonging to only for this unit cell. If you assume that, so the corner particles are like this, and the particle is invisible actually. Along with that, there is a particle which is this one is at the center of the unit cell. So this is how the 8 corners and one particle at the center. Now, if you observe this, this is the particle at the center particle at the body center. The remaining are the corner particles. So behind one more will be there. Now, if you concentrate this number of particles in a body-centered unit cell, so there will be 8 corners. And what is the contribution of corner particle? It is 1 by 8 will be the contribution factor. Along with that, so there is additional particle seen in the body center. So that is 1, so which is seen at the body center of a unit cell. Hence, the particle calculation will be 8 into 1 by 8 is 1, and so 1 present at the center of the unit cell which belongs only for that unit cell, as the Z value for BCC is going to be 2. Number of particles present per body centered unit cell Z will be equal to 2. Hope this is clear. Now we'll try to move with the next crystal system. It is face-centered crystal system. Now, as we know that, so a face-centered cubic system or a cubic unit cell, so will have 8 corners, and along with that, so what is the additional particles present is that, so we know that there are 6 faces in the unit cell, and each face center will have a particle. Each face center will have a particle. Now, the contribution of phase particle, if we take, now if you look into this first diagram, so there is a particle which is present at a phase center. Now, this portion, that is 1 by 2 of this is present to this unit cell, and 1 by 2 of this is present to this unit cell. That means a particle of phase center is equally shared by 2 unit cells, and the contribution factor for a phase center particle will be 1 by 2. So will be its contribution. Now that you can observe with the continuation of the diagrams 2, 3, and 4. If you join the centers of all these spheres, you will get a face-centered unit cell. Now this is how the corner particles look, and these are the face-centered particles. So we know that in a cube there will be 6 faces, and in all the 6 face centers there is a particle seen in FCC crystal system. Now this is a face-centered particle, so half of that contributing per unit cell. So now here the 3 face-centered particles are visible in the given diagram. So remaining 3 will be behind. So that overall contribution of 6 face center will be 6 into 1 by 2. It will be 3. Now if you go with the calculation part, so we know that there are 8 corners in a unit cell, and the contribution factor for the corner particle is that it is 1 by 8. So along with the corner particles in face-centered unit cell, so for each 6 faces of the cubic unit cell, 36 face center particles, its contribution per unit cell is 1 by 2. Each face centered particle is contributing 1 by 2 of its portion to the unit cell. So if you go with that simplification, 8 into 1 by 8 is 1, plus 6 into 1 by 2 is 3. So hence 1 plus 3, it is 4. The total number of particles present per unit cell of FCC is 4. Hence to conclude here, so simple cubic system, so we'll have the Z value as 1. Body centered cubic system will have Z value as 2. Face centered cubic system will have the Z value as 4, so which is very important to remember. Just to focus. So practice with the calculation part. Diagrams are supportive how this information is taken. Now we'll go with the face centered cubic system 3D model also. Just observe that. Now, if you observe in this particular model, so again, you can see that at each face center, there is a particle. So, and if you keenly observe that face centered particle, so half of that is present in the unit cell and half of that is shared by adjacent unit cell. So thereby the contribution for that is going to be 1 by 2. So hope these diagrams will be helpful how to relate. So the link for these diagrams I will share to you in the description of the video. So once you are checking with the video, so if these 3D diagrams are not clearly visible for you in the video, you just check out after the completion of class, so for better understanding of the videos. With this, we'll try to stop for today's class. So what we discussed all are very important for 1 mark question and 2 mark question. So as though the unit is not having 1 mark weightage, splitting of questions will be there as 1 mark in the long questions, or in the part B of 2 mark, they will split the question into 1 mark each. Hence focus the first, at least most ordered, most disordered crystal system. And this particle calculation is very important 2 mark topic. So focus this clearly. Hope the class is clear. So we'll continue in our next class. Thank you.